Good afternoon. Welcome. In regards to the Louisiana Tech game, we were beaten by a very good football team, and they were much bigger, faster, and stronger than we were. It was obviously evident on the football field. They did a great job of creating the turnovers, much like we talked about, that we needed to prevent and not allow to happen to keep ourselves in the game and keep it close in the first half. They're a very optimistic team. They capitalized on the turnovers that we had early in the game. The one penalty that we questioned and whether or not it was a tripping would give us a chance to make it possibly 7-7, and then snap over the head and then return for a touchdown. Made it 14-0 and put us behind the 8 ball real early in the game. It's something that we got to continue to work on as a group. And we just struggled defending the run, which opened up the pass game for them. And when you have a running back run for 6 touchdowns, it's an impressive day, and he should obviously be the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Week, I would assume. He had a great day. Dixon's a very special back. We all know that we'll probably see him on Sundays next year with somebody. But they did a very good job. The early penalties, like I said, cost us the 2, put us behind the chains, and then the turnovers there in the first half were detrimental to giving us a chance to be successful. They did a good job of limiting us running the ball, which I knew they would because of their blitzing personality and how they play, and then also by loading the box. So we knew that we were going to have to throw the ball effectively. We had 4 drops on the day, which we cannot allow to happen, and then we had a couple missed throws as well. And then we had the interception going into the red zone that DeMarcus made a poor decision. It's exactly what we worked on. We gave them the multiple looks that they could give us, and if he would have came off it, we'd had somebody up and underneath and had a chance to maybe put the ball in the end zone coming there early in the third quarter on our first drive. So those things that we got to get better at, better decision making and better execution when we get in the red zone. I am proud of the way our kids continue to fight. Our players kept fighting. They didn't give up. They didn't fold tent. They were determined to make sure that we kept playing to the whistle, to the end of to stroke 0 on the clock, and they did. And we were able to put 2 touchdowns on the field, and our defense kept playing hard, and that's what we're looking for our guys to do. La Tech has done a good job of developing their players. You could see it. The size you could see on the field was a total different in terms of what our players look like. And I know Skip has done a great job in developing those players and getting them bigger, faster, and stronger. And I think that's something that I mentioned after the game, that if you want to move big people, you got to move big iron. And that's something that has to be done here in this program in the next couple of years as we develop our players. We've got to get them bigger, faster, and stronger. In regards to Tennessee, I have great respect for Butch Jones. Him and I have known each other for 20 years. We're great friends. We talk on the phone regularly. We actually, when he was coming up through the profession, I was at South Florida. We have spent many times talking offensive schemes and especially in the red zone. I know he's done a great job with his players, and I remember his climb through the coaching ranks. And he went to Central Michigan, and when he got his chance, then went to West Virginia with Rich Rod, and then went back to Central Michigan as the head coach, and has done a great job. And someone gave him a chance, and he took advantage of it. And he's a great coach, and I have great respect for him. He's a player's coach, and you can see the players are playing with purpose and they're playing for him. It's a good style of brand. It's a good football there at the University of Tennessee. It's going to be a great challenge for us, and we know that. And we're going to go into an SEC stadium. We're going to go into play an SEC team, and it's going to be a great environment for our kids. 120,000 screaming volunteers is going to be something for our kids to experience. The ones that were here when we played LSU and Alabama can tell the stories of what it's like to go in those places and play in that type of crowd. So it'll be a challenge for us, but one that we're excited about, and then we've obviously accepted that we know that we got to go play them, and I think our kids will play their butts off. I think they're determined to go and play with great purpose, and remember that they're playing for the pride of North Texas, and that we're not going to fold tent. We're going to go there and give it all we've got. And for the next 3 weeks, that's what I've asked them to do. And in the game in the locker room, I told them flat out, I've got you, you've got me, and we've got each other, and we're going to play for pride these next 3 games, and we're going to give it all we've got so we can send our seniors out the right way. I think that's something that we owe to this program, we owe to our seniors, and we owe to the staff that has continued to work extremely hard in difficult situations. But I'm looking forward to it, to seeing Butch on Saturday and getting a chance to play against an SEC team.
Why do you think Louisiana Tech's been able to recruit and develop players better than North Texas has?
Maybe it's I don't know what their philosophy is. I know it's Skip has done in terms of developing their players. You can see it, since his first day in there. They've always had good players, let's be honest. And they do a good job of drawing in players there in that program. They've been winners in that program when Sonny Dykes had them, and they were winning then. So it's had a history of winning teams, so I think it was probably an easy transition when he got in there because they lost a lot of players his first year in there. We all remember that. And then you continue to see the kids that were young that develop throughout the year, and I think they do a great job, and obviously in their weight room and developing kids. I would love to talk to Skip on, I'm sure something down the line and say, what's your plan? How are you all doing this that you can see the development? From the waist, from here, from the chest down to the knees, they're as thick as anybody we've seen. I mean, they are really a good-looking football team. Them, West Kentucky and Marshall, you see the difference, and they're the 3 top teams in this conference. Let's be honest, and they look different. They all look different to us as we looked at them across the field. And now that I'm on the sidelines, I get to see it from a different perspective and see how big they are. But they've done a good job in developing their players in terms of recruiting. I don't know what their recruiting plan is. Obviously, they're doing a good job because they're getting the right kids in that program.
Why hasn't North Texas been able to get to that point?
I don't know if I should comment on that. I've got my own thoughts on what I think the issues are and where I think this program needs to go. That's something I could hold off to a later time. I believe I should do and hold off to, but I think I have a plan how to get there. I truly believe that. I thought I've got a great plan how to get the players in here because it's all about the Jimmies and Joes. Let's be honest. And right now we're an average football team. But we've got to find some players that continue to develop the kids that we have in our program so they can get bigger and stronger. And then you bring it in with an influx of whether they're transfers or they're kids that are, in junior colleges that give you a chance that are the size that you need to play at this level.
You've been a part of recruiting here for several years. You feel like you've been held back?
No, I would never say that. And I didn't say that. I would say that I just have a different philosophy on how I think recruiting should go. And it's no knock on anybody, on Coach Mack or anybody else that's running the recruiting thing. I just think that we need to do a better job recruiting in development of our players. We've got to get our kids bigger, faster, and stronger. And that's what we've got to get to. We got players that have come in and haven't seen much of a growth in them since their freshman year. So somewhere, somehow, we've got to get that fixed. And whether it's in the weight room, whether it's our eating, our kids have got to be buy in more to ask them to get to where we need them to be in terms of size and understand that football is a high priority as well as academics is here, and that's the most important thing. We all know that, to come here to get an education, and that's the number one priority. The second thing is to play football. And so we've got to continue to look, and we need to look at it. We need to step back and look at ourselves and say, how do we fix this? I think I have a plan how to fix it. I believe that. But I think we've got to get it fixed.
Talk a little bit about Tennessee. I mean, they're obviously one of the better teams out there in college football. Big challenge. What is it that makes them so good a team?
Well, they're really good structurally, defensively. They're very fundamentally sound. They'll load the box when they need to. They play sound in coverage. They fit the run well in terms of gap responsibility. There's no one person that's out of gap when you watch them play. When runs are going, different direction. You see the split when we run. You run your split zone, or people run the read game with the quarterback. Everybody has gap integrity. You see that. But the one dominant thing you will always see in the SEC is defensive linemen. That stands out to me more than anything. And when you look at the size of their players up front, it's going to be a challenge. And I believe this. And if you're going to have a winning program, it all starts with defensive linemen. I'll never forget the day I walked into LSU when I was at South Florida and went up there to watch them and learn from them. The number one thing on the recruiting board, was defensive linemen. You build your program around defensive linemen because they can change the game, and they do. And you see that in every SEC team. They all have big, strong defensive linemen, and that's where it starts. And for them, it's the same thing. They got some very strong, big, thick defensive linemen, and then cover corners that can run, linebackers that are thick and skilled, that have tremendous speed, and then offensively, they do a great job of spreading the ball around. Butch has always been good offensively. He's got a good offensive mind. So I think that's why they're pretty special.
How do you approach a game like this? I mean, you're obviously, I think, like a 40-point underdog. It's been a rough year. You're going on the road to an SEC team with, they had a tough situation. How do you get your kids to respond?
Well, like I told them, you know, I've got you, you got me, we got each other, and it's a great challenge, and let's accept it and for what it is. We're going to go in and play an SEC team that's going to be favored by a bunch. We all know that, and it's our job to go there and play with great pride and play with great determination and purpose, and that's what I'm looking for. I want them to play hard. I believe they can play hard. You know, probably the only one in the country that thinks we can win is my mom, and she said that to me this morning. You know, on any given day, anybody can beat anybody. You know, but my mom has great faith, and we talked about that as a team in the locker room. We talked about it yesterday on the field. That faith is the belief in something you don't see, and I told them just start seeing it. Just start seeing good things happen, and eventually it'll happen. It may not happen this year. It may not happen this week. Maybe it'll happen next week or the following week. But good things are going to happen here at University of North Texas. I believe that. And I'll never give up on that belief. I have such great faith in this program and great faith in this team and these players that they understand that I have them and they've got me, and I won't give up on that. So I just think it's a great opportunity for them to go into a great environment and to play the best we can. And that's all I can ask them to do with that, because they're going to get all I've got. And so I expect the same thing.
Zach Whitfield had a rough end last year, a month punting in TSA. He left school. How big was it for you guys to get him back this year?
I think he was committed to coming back once he made that decision to be a part of the program again. He came in with a smile on his face, a little apprehensive because you know what happened last year and how it ended, and he felt like the weight was on his shoulders, the whole world was on his shoulders, and he let the whole team down in a critical situation. But that one play didn't lose the game. Let's be honest, and that's what I try to tell him. Is you got to learn from the past and move forward, and that's what he's done. And I really respect him for coming back and contributing and being part of this team, because our players have accepted him in the room. They love him, and it's good to see his smiling face every day. And he makes it better when I get to see Victoria, his mom.
So I know his mother's had some health issues. How is the team going to rally around him with that situation?
Well, they know that the health issues that Victoria has, and you know she's been in our prayers often, as many of our parents and other players have that have had stuff like this happen. But they rally around him and understand that he's a part of this program, and when one of our players hurt or a family member hurts, we all hurt. And so we all take that into perspective.
You had a few players that didn't make the trip last week. What was the reason behind that?
Which ones?
Jimerson.
Jimerson had made a choice that because he was not getting the playing time he thought he should get, that he would rather stay home. And I said, okay, because I want guys that want to go and contribute, whatever situation it is, whatever, if it's a third down back in a situation or it's in second down or whatever. He made that choice. I don't beg anybody to come play. We need Jimerson on this team. We need him to contribute. And if he chose not to come, then that's his choice. But I want guys that want to go play and want to go win.
Is he still part of the team?
Oh, yeah. He was at practice last night. Smile on his face. He just made that choice. So I want guys that want to go win. I want guys that want to be a part of this. And so it was just a choice he made. And I respect him for it. There was a death. A very close friend was shot. Well, excuse me, it wasn't a death. Had gotten shot, and he needed to be there for that. And I respect him for that, the closeness that he had with it. And it sounds like the young man is still in critical condition. But we had a real good discussion about it, and that happened late on Wednesday. And so he, out of respect, I said, I understand Jimmy. So.
It sounded like there was a couple other guys who didn't make the trip, but it said.
Well, said there was an injury deal. That was something that it came up wise. It happened in the game the week before, and it was just precautionary. We wanted to make sure you didn't want to put a player on the field that could have been hurt or is hurt, that go out there and get hurt again. So we just said, hey, let's give him this week off, get him back, and he's ready to go again. He was at practice last night, smile on his face, because he wanted to go Friday morning. Coach, I want to go. And I said, look, let's just get you healthy, let's get rehab, get yourself back in the training room, and we're ready to go on Sunday night. And he's ready to go.
What about Schlesy?
Yeah. So everybody's still in the boat now.
I'm sorry? Everybody's still in the boat. Everybody's still in the boat. No one's jumped ship, nobody's jumped ship right now, and I respect them all for doing that. They all understand what's at stake, and I don't think they all want to. No, I don't think anybody's going to jump ship. I think they believe in what we're doing, and they're going to play for the pride of North Texas and this program, and I'm very proud of them. Because it's been a very difficult situation. It's been hard. It's been hard on everybody, but they haven't given up. We still have faith in each other, and I still believe in them, and they believe in what we're doing. So I respect that. I heard a comment last night. One of our players was trying to spat before the game. And I told him, you're not allowed to spat. That's just the rules of this program. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, you can play better without spats. And he played a pretty good game. One of the comments was, Coach Canales is pretty strict. I just think that's what you have to do. If you're not allowed to spat, and the trainer says, hey, there's nothing wrong with you, then you don't need to spat. It's not about looking good, it's about going out and playing. And when you play, you'll play good no matter what you have on. So that was just what I was trying to get the message across to him, that it's not about how you look, it's about going out and playing. And that's what I want them to do, and they did.
It's been tough on the road for you guys.
Whew, who you telling?
Part of it's who you're playing.
Sure.
You're going to play Louisiana Tech on the road, you're going to play.
Sure.
I mean, how do you kind of get your kids to break through or at least play better?
Sure. I always tell them, and it's a 0-0 record when we go on the road, and that's the way I approach every game, that, whether it's home or away, that it's 0-0. Our record's 0-0. It doesn't matter right now. We know we're not going bowling. There's you look at it and go, well, we should go play for something, but we are playing for something. We're playing for pride. And we haven't had a road win, I believe, going into our second year now. We need to go get one. And it's going to be tough as hell to get one this week, let's be honest. But we've got 2 more chances on the road, and hopefully we can break through. But I look at every week as a challenge and as an opportunity that it could possibly happen. It's going to be bigger this week than anything. Obviously, we know that. And the schedule's been tough, obviously.
You guys were going on what seemed to be an upward trend defensively. And then last week was just, it's great. You're playing Louisiana Tech, but it was pretty hard. Is there something you guys need to do to get back to where you were going the right direction defensively?
Well, we played a very good football team with an exceptional bat. And at times he made us look average, and he's made a lot of people look average, let's be honest. And then you had a quarterback that was really spinning the ball well and was able to get the ball down the field on some play action throws. But it's a very good football team, and we faced a very good team. And I'm not going to let that deter from what our objective is defensively, and that's continue to play tough, physical, rally the ball, tackle the ball carrier, create turnovers. That's what we got to have, and we just haven't had a lot of them. We've got to continue to fight and try to get turnovers, and that's what I expect from them. That's what our defensive staff expects to happen, and then we can get better. Obviously, we know that. It's just we played a very good football team.
Was it the same thing in the running game? Was it just a matter of
they loaded the box and they blitzed, which is what their personality is, and it was going to make it very tough for us to run the ball. And their thought process was, I'm sure in those conditions, was to force DeMarcus to throw the ball. Although we threw for over 200 yards, we'd like to have had over 100 yards to 150 rushing, because I knew it was going to be a tough sledding. And you look at the 34-yard punt, that's 34 yards we lost, and so that went against us as well. So where's that come? It counts as total offense, too. So you look at that, everybody goes, well, you only had 300 something, yeah, but we lost 35 on the punt, too. So, maybe we rush a little bit better, things happen better, maybe we can get in better shape. I mean, not better shape, better position by not having the penalty when we're on first. We should have been first and 10 on the 20 going in, but because of the penalty, which I'm still questioning whether or not that happened. Maybe now it's a 7-7 game and it's a whole different outcome possibly. But it was going to be a challenge all day. It's a very good football team we played.
So what you guys did see the trip on film with Caden?
Oh yeah, I've watched it many a times, and I just because I point blank asked the umpire that was there, and I said, did he lift his leg? Because he said, Coach, he lifted his leg and tripped. And I asked him 3 or 4 times, are you sure he lifted his leg to trip him? Because I said, that is what our center does. He back blocks, cuts, and rolls. I didn't see a leg come up, and none of our staff saw a leg come up. But they make the call. I lived with it. I said, are you sure? He said, yes, I'm sure. And I said, okay, great, good, we move on, because I'm just not gonna argue with a ref about something, unless I feel very strongly about it. But at the time, I couldn't see it. I didn't see it at the time. I was watching the play develop. So I have to go on what he does. And I trust him out there. I trust all the officials out there that they have the safety of the players. And that's what I'm concerned about most.
One guy that I find pretty intriguing, just because he showed up over the summer out of nowhere, is Trey, who's really making an impact now in the return game. As I remember, I talked to him over the summer, he just kind of walked on, or what was the story with him?
Yeah, he walked on. We basically begged him to come be a part of this thing because we needed a punt returner so bad. And then there was times I remember Coach Perry and Coach Sheffield, our graduate assistant of special teams, came up and said, hey, do you mind just give him a little boost of confidence? So I said, yeah, what do you want me to tell him? And he said, just, he gets nervous when he gets out there when he, initially. So there for about, I think it was right before the West Kentucky game or the Marshall game. I think it was Marshall game. I went up and I said, you know what? I had a player that I coached when I was at South Florida that would get nervous before every play when he'd go out there. And I told him, I said, you have to believe in yourself because I believe in you. And you got to believe every play is going to be an ESPN top 10, that you're going to make ESPN top 10 with your play. And so I would sing him that ESPN top 10 song, when it would come on, I'd kind of play that tune to him. And every time now we're out in practice, I do it every time. I see him and I start throwing out that song to him and him, the hymn that they have. And now he's got a smile on his face and he's got no fear. That one thing he doesn't have now, fear. Now he has confidence. So he's fearless and now have a confidence. So you're seeing the play that we're seeing out of him. So it's exciting to watch because you don't know what's going to happen. And he is fearless now.
Did you guys find him at Cisco?
Yeah, we found him at Cisco. Coach Key was down there recruiting, said there's a possible returner. We talked him into it. Hey, come give it a shot. We think you can be the guy. And and that's all he's doing is punt return. He's just working on it all through practice and in preparation for the game. And he's just really taken to it. And like I said, I'm so proud of him and what he's done and what he's contributed to this team.
And what, you guys give a chance on kick return too?
Yes. Yes, because what he's doing, he's fearless. You saw it in the game the other day when he broke through and hit one for about 40. It was nice to see, because he is fearless out there, and he brings something to the table that right now we need.
What's he like? Is he a fun kid to have around?
Oh, he's fun. He's a mighty mite. That's what he is. He's a dynamo because he gets those little legs moving. You don't know, and sometimes you can't even see him. In the trick play we ran with Willie Ivory, we actually initially had planned it for him, because we figured they really wouldn't see him, but we were just unsure whether or not we could get it to him because he was so small and so little in that crouch position. We didn't know if we could get it to him. But he was our second guy we were going to put in.
He's not a very big guy.
No. I mean, he's probably a $145, $155 maybe, if that. 55 after he eats a pregame meal or something.
Is that why he ends up being a walk-on, or why he's really too?
Probably that and the height. He's not very tall. Let's be honest. He's probably 5'5", if that. Maybe probably shorter than that. But he's got a heart of a lion, and that's what you want. I'd like to take his heart and put on some other guys too.
When Kenny went down in the first game of the year, it really kind of forced that to step up, take a bigger role in the secondary. How has he embraced that, especially just being his last season? What legacy is he going to leave?
Well, you can always say he was a player that came back after graduation and to contribute and help this program, and he'll always go down as a player that cared more about the team than himself, and that just tells the whole story about who Zach Whitfield is. And I remember recruiting him and going and sitting in his home with his mom, and his mom had a 2x4 sitting by her chair. And I said, "What's that for?" She said, "In case I ever need it for Zach." And I said, "You have to use it?" She goes, "No. But I have it here ready." So you just tell the type of kid player he is, and getting his degree and what his family means to him and what his mom means to him especially. I saw that the first time I walked in the home. This was a special young man because he was brought up right by his mom and dad.
How big of an influence do you think she had on him ultimately coming back?
I think she had a big influence because she got to be part of this again. She got to wear her shirt that she always wore with Zach's number on it, 24, and you just go, man, it's always great to see her smiling face. At the Eagle Walk, when I saw her, it just filled my heart because she's such a special lady. So you can see, obviously it means a lot to him and to her too. Good, appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.